Hola, mi amigos. Hey, I want you to brace yourself because we have actually, believe it or not, made it to the end of Genesis. We're at the end of the very first book of the Bible. So we're in Genesis chapter 50, and Jacob has left the building. Jacob has died, and so Joseph and his brothers are going to Canaan to bury their father. And it's a really emotional road trip. As they travel along, it's a very emotional thing. They are in mourning over their dad. And Joseph's brothers start thinking, which is a really dangerous thing. And they start thinking, and they think, what if Joseph really didn't forgive us? Because we sold him into slavery, and we betrayed him. And he said he forgave us, but what if he really didn't? And what if this has been his evil plan all along, and now that Dad's dead, he's going to get back at us, and now it's payback time. So they go to Joe, and they have this story. They have concocted this whole story, and it's like, yeah, Joe, so Dad, before he died, he told us to tell you, that you need to forgive us, And they don't trust him. They're afraid that Joseph is going to take care of things. They're afraid that Joseph is going to take care of them, and revenge is going to happen, and he's going to get them back. And they refuse to trust Joe. They refuse to believe his forgiveness. And this is probably, I think, what made Joseph cry. In verse 17, it says that Joseph wept. Okay, Joseph wept. And in John 11:35, if you flip over to the New Testament, it says that Jesus wept. And I think Jesus cried for the same reason that Joseph cried. That people refuse to trust. People refuse to believe. But that's another story for another day. So we're back in Genesis chapter 50. Joseph looks at his brothers and he says, hey, it's done. It's over. What you meant for evil, God meant for good. I truly, completely forgive you. And a lot of times we live just like Joseph's brothers, because here they lived with filtered forgiveness. They didn't really trust that they had been forgiven. They really didn't walk in the fullness of that. They didn't walk in the reality of the fact that Joseph had released them and he had let them go. And here they are living with this weird kind of filtered forgiveness. And a lot of times we do the same thing. We think, man, God couldn't have forgiven me for that. He maybe forgave me for the little things, but I've been pretty bad. And I've done some horrible things that I'm not real proud of. And surely He couldn't have forgiven me for that. And we live with this filtered forgiveness. We also live with giving out filtered forgiveness. And we choose to forgive people or not. And it all comes down to, do we trust and believe the forgiveness of the Father? Do we issue it ourselves? Okay? A lot of times we practice filtered forgiveness in what we receive, in what we give. And the ability to give and receive forgiveness comes from the proper perspective. It's all about just believing the right things, okay? And with Joseph and with us, Joseph had the right perspective. What you meant for evil, God meant for good. And we need to have the same perspective. Romans 8:28, let me read it to you. It says this, and we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose for them. God doesn't cause everything, but He causes everything to work together for good. And once we have that perspective, we can walk in forgiveness. We can receive it. We can also give it. We don't have to walk in filtered forgiveness. We don't have to walk around thinking, well, maybe God didn't really forgive me. I don't know if I can trust Him with this. And I don't know if I can believe Him for this. But we receive the full force of His forgiveness. And then we turn around and we fully forgive those around us. Because we realize things happen. People hurt us. But God can turn it around. And God can bring beauty out of ashes. And God can bring good out of really bad stuff. So we trust Him to do that. And we walk in unfiltered forgiveness. God bless you guys. Giddy up.